Welcome. You're watching Embodied Ethics, and today I wanted to share a few thoughts that have been stemming out of different conversations I've been having for the past weeks and months about the state of the world, as I'm sure many of you are thinking about how we got to where we are and where we might be going as a planet and as different civilizations, wherever you're watching this from. And one thing I've been witnessing is the mounting anxiety around where we might be going next. And I think there's a generalized feeling that the development of civilization, in, I would say, Western civilization, so I'm based in France, in Europe, and I'm in touch with North America mostly. And I would say in these parts of the world, we're all feeling that the generalized historical power of these nations through colonialism, through industrial power and growth, is basically coming to an end, and that the ongoing discourse of growth is at some point going to crash somehow. Growth might continue and will continue, certainly in many ways. It might be who knows what it'll be. Spiritual growth, new ways of relating to each other. So it's not that it's the end of the development and the potential growing of life, but something about the way our civilizations have organized is probably coming to an end. And the unknown territory that leaves most of us, who many of us have grown up thinking that things would just keep getting better, the world would keep developing in ways that were socially, humanely, just a trend of things being better than they were in the past and growing towards new technologies, new visions, new potential. And the discourse that I'm hearing in the media, the way politics are thinking about the health of a society is still based on growth. It's still based on how can we regenerate and renew, and where's the growth of our nation, and that would be the way to read how a nation is doing. And I don't see anywhere a pedagogy of decline. How do we accompany each other through a process of inevitable decline that is part of the cycle of growth? And there's sort of this huge blind spot that we can't just, it's unsustainable, it's unrealistic, and it's not desirable to be continually growing. It can't just be spring and summer all the time. And I spent a lot of time this winter resting and kind of staying in the dark. I hibernated this winter. And the value of that is so profound that I'm wishing for a politics of decline, a pedagogy of decline. How do we mourn together? How do we rest and recuperate together? How do we get rid of stuff? How do we cleanse? How do we let go? How do we move through the end of something together and learn from it and feel the intelligence that's inherent in that part of the cycle? In France these days, there's a science being developed called collapsology, so the science of the basically the collapse of society and the collapse of civilization as pending, whether it'll be the end of oil or the end of the global financial system, that at some point something's going to give, and because all the parts are intertwined, the general sense that there was going to be a major collapse of civilization, the end of unsustainable food systems, etc. And it's really interesting. I find the thought behind it is intelligent and to the point, but it's also generating a lot of anxiety because I find that it's not focusing on the positive aspects of decline. What can we learn from, and how can we honor the process of shedding what is no longer supporting our life, what is no longer sustainable. And it's not just that something didn't work and so we just let it go, throw it away, and get on to the next new thing that we can have grow, but actually accompany ourselves and feel the process of honoring something that has moved to its end, that is declining, that has aged to its full maturity and now needs to wither away, crumble away, change form, be recycled into new material. And not already jump to the new material part, but feel into, breathe into, allow ourselves to be fully present with the actual process of letting go. So how do we move through this possible decline or collapse, end of a certain way of understanding nation states and capitalism, all of this, everything's going down. Or maybe it's not, but some things are. And that can be a real learning, something we can be with together and not be afraid of, but take on as a new way of knowing ourselves as a part of bigger living systems that must include degradation, must include death, must include all of the dis-ease that goes with aging and just everything that's so beautiful about winter. How can we ease into the dark and love it and honor it and find rituals and name the emotions that we find in that place? So again, I want to point to the work of Joanna Macy. She comes up a few times. She came up in the video on embodiment and embedment. Joanna Macy, who has done just stunning work around mourning, really acknowledging the pain of seeing our natural habitats be devastated. So as we move into spring and feel into the pleasure of the buds and the energy and the vitality coming back, those were just a few thoughts of allowing ourselves to feel the end of some parts of the world as we maybe knew it and thought it would continue to be. I hope you're all enjoying this transition of seasons, are well, and I will see you soon. Be well. Bye.